live. Okay. I'm reading The Laird and the Lady. It is a novel by Joan Marshall Grant. She used to be a writer of her own far memories, her previous incarnations, ancient Egypt, Italy, Greece. But this one was a novel she wrote, and we are here in the third part. And I had already started chapter 8, Funeral is Arranged. But the battery went empty, so I am reading again, this time on my laptop where that doesn't happen. Oh no, he wouldn't, not if he knew that there was a chance that by doing so he would betray Hector. Now do you see? He found her eagerness very reassuring, as though they were discussing nothing more dangerous than possibly buried treasure. All right, we'll presume that Robbie knows how to open the hide, and that you can persuade him to tell us. What do we tackle next? I'm not quite certain of the technique. Can a minister consecrate a piece of ground on his own authority, or does he have to consult bishops and things? We needn't bother about that. What's wrong with the old clan burial ground? Yes, it hasn't been used since Thunder built the kitchen kirk and gave land for the cemetery, but it did very well for the several generations of cadres, so Emilie should find herself in good company. Now we only need a minister who's not hidebound by convention. Any hope of Mr. Henderson being cooperative? His mother was a cadre, said Duncan reflectively, and if it comes to that, his grandmother was supposed to be a witch. At least she could charm wards, and the less charitable said she wished them on anyone who offended her. He doesn't look like the close relation of a witch, she said doubtfully. But you do, darling. The most beautiful and beguiling member of the white fraternity. If you can try your magic on the old boy, I think you might find an adventurous heart beating under that coat of sober black. She laughed. Pardon me while I go to see if I have tethered my broomstick securely to the pillar of your porch. Marylda found Robbie at the kennels, comforting a bitch in whelp. 2 puppies had been born and the mother was panting, though not unduly distressed. She has 3, maybe 4 more to come, said Robbie, and is having an easy time, but with the first litter they are better for someone to talk to, so I shall not leave her until she's finished. She won't mind if I stay here for a few minutes. He chuckled. If she did, she'd have told you soon enough, but you have a way with animals, milady, knowing that there's more ways than words in which God's creatures speak to each other. Robbie, do you believe that people can know something but not be able to explain how they know? I've never been one to bother my head how I can tell when the salmon begin to run, but I haven't been wrong more than 2 or 3 times in nearly 60 years. Robbie, if you knew something which you had promised not to tell, and then if you found out a little more, well, would you break that promise? That is a very difficult question. I've always found it better to be silent than to say too much, he smiled. By that I mean no impertinence, only that I belong to a race that has great reputation for keeping its mouth shut. Marylda was finding the conversation more difficult than she expected. Was Robbie deliberately trying to put her off? She must try to surprise him into giving a direct answer. Is there a secret room in Cloud? Such a place would not be unlikely in so old a castle, he said evasively, but it wouldn't be secret if people knew about it. Was it called the Hide? Is the entrance close to the fireplace in the old nursery? He refused to betray the emotion that her question aroused. What would you know of the old nursery? Or has the old lady taken her seal off the door? Georgina knows I have been in there, though I didn't tell her until I'd got into the room by climbing over the roof. I found all the things that used to belong to Emilie. My aunt, Emilie. Robbie, do you believe that she is still in Cloud? He turned to stroke the bitch before answering. Do you mean, is her ghost still here? Why ask me that, when you saw her yourself the day I pulled you out of the river? Robbie, please trust me. I don't mean her ghost, though of course that's here too. I mean her body. It is said that her body is buried in France, said Robbie cautiously. But I don't believe it, and I don't believe you do either. Perhaps it would be better if you tell me exactly what is troubling you, milady. The same thing that is troubling you. That is troubling Rowan and Georgina, if they only understood. I know that Sir Hector killed his wife, though he didn't mean to do it. He put her body in the hide. He will never rest, and neither will she until she is properly buried. So you wish me to open the hide to see if you are right? Yes, Robbie. I want you to help me take the fear away from the house. But we mustn't let Rowan or Georgina know. Why should they be made unhappy by something which happened so long ago? It is a matter which should not be attempted without careful consideration. It might not be easy to bury a body, if there is a body, without causing undue disturbance. The bitch stood up and began to strain among the straw. Robbie, unless I can be sure that Cloud is no longer haunted. Haunted by Hector and Emilie, I mean. For Alice, if she really exists, isn't my business. I shall never have a son. I won't let a baby of mine be frightened, as Rowan was frightened. So you're offering me a bargain, he said shrewdly. An heir for Sir Rowan against the risk of branding his grandfather's memory with murder. I'm not driving a bargain, Robbie. I'm asking you to trust me to protect the Cadrys. There was a glint, like blue flame, in his eyes. I think we understand each other. When you tell me you are ready, I will open the hide. And if I should speak of what we might find there, may my tongue rot from my mouth, and be eaten by carrion crows before midsummer day. He smiled. I'm not being fanciful in my speech, only affirming what the kinsmen of Cadry have sworn on the fealty stone for more than 500 years. You will understand it is used only when the chief demands some special loyalty. So this was the end. The next chapter is chapter 9, entitled Ashes to Ashes.